All right, it's finally sunny enough that I can kind of give you somewhat of a tour. This isn't the full tour because the van isn't fully done, but I've already hit the road to test out the vehicle and to make sure it's going to be capable of supporting 2 people as we live on the road, possibly for several weeks at a time. So far it's working pretty well. The cooking system is working, the fans do work, the curtains are pretty good, and I have upgraded the bed to full twin size mattress. So the smaller one, you can see it's gone, although I basically bought this mattress here from Walmart online for like $85, and it is a full, well, it's not full, it's a twin size, which makes it about 39-40 inches, which was the width that I had, so it was a perfect fit. And then I bought another a full size comforter and pillows, and I folded it in half because half of it pretty much fits the twin. And the way the van looks a little bit more color coordinated. Of course, now at this point the cabinets there look like they kind of stand out, looking wood grain and not matching. So I'm debating whether or not I should paint it. What do you guys think? Should I paint those cabinets like the blue that I'm going to paint everything here? See, the blue kind of matches my blue. So I want, when things are color coordinated, they look a little bit better. So right now it's just a quick build. I haven't fully painted and made everything look nice, but I'm going to be painting all these to match, and then I'm thinking I should do the same. Let me know your thoughts, and that will determine whether or not I paint it. In the meantime, I hope everybody's doing well. Make sure you watch the videos to see the cooking system in action. Matter of fact, since it's sunny right now, we might go ahead and show it off a little bit for those of you who aren't familiar with how everything is set up. All right, for those of you unfamiliar with Little Blue and her cooking system, this is your chance to learn how it all works. Even though this isn't Little Blue, this is Casper the Friendly Host. It's a very similar system, just updated by raising the rice cooking platform and adding the ability to put a table on top, so we can actually dine in. I basically put this pin in there underneath here to hold the thing in place when I'm wanting to eat inside the vehicle. But the system basically works off an inverter. I built a custom rice cooker here, holder. It's like a little case and it's all bolted in, and there's like a little platform that I built to make it flat so that this could sit on here, and it's secured in place. The rice cooker has been screwed in, and then I have these elastic bands that I put here to keep the lid on while we're driving and cooking. But anyhow, the rice cooker itself runs off 120 volts, and it gets 120 volts through this inverter. Those of you who don't know what an inverter or a converter is, it's a device that allows you to take like 12 or 24 volts, whatever your car outputs, and converts it to like 120 or 220, whatever your country uses for your appliances and stuff. So it converts in America, it converts from 12 volts to like 120. And you can simply hook this up to a 12-volt battery, like your car battery, and it will convert it. Now the issue is when it does the conversion, it loses some energy. You get some energy loss, but also you're burning through the battery's power. So you want to make sure that if you're doing that, your car is running, if you're hooking it up to your car battery and directly, but it can drain it down because it's only one little battery that's usually like 100 amp hours, and you only have about 50 amp hours available. And if you're pulling it all out really fast, doing cooking and stuff, it could run out. So what I did for this vehicle is I made what's called a house battery. And I have like a battery that's underneath here. It goes under the floor. But let me show you the system from the engine side, what we're actually talking about. A typical car has a car battery, which provides like 12 volts or so in America. And if you hook up the inverter, like the positive side to the positive and the negative side to the negative, you can convert this 12 volts to 120. Okay, that's at the simplest form. So the power from the battery is actually 12 volts, but once it goes through the inverter and you plug your appliances in the inverter, you can get 120 volts out of it. But I didn't do that directly here, even though you could if you didn't want to wire and do all this stuff, but then you have to move your inverter around and whatnot. What I did was I pulled one wire, this black wire right here, this cable that you see, and then I put it here to what's a fuse. This fuse has like a 25 amp fuse in it, or below inline fuse. And the reason for that is if the system gets too hot, like it pulling too much power, I want the fuse to blow before things catch on fire. So that goes to the red, which is the positive, and you'll see the black I don't have anything hooked up, because the black, which is the negative or the ground, is pretty much the whole car body. So inside, what I did on the other side, the black cable here, you see it, pull it under the car and it comes out here. So that's that black cable. It runs under here and goes behind here and actually comes back here and goes, I have it going directly to the inverter. And then from the inverter, I have another cable, this is the red, the positive side, that runs and connects to the battery, which is underneath that area. And this is, and then on the black side, so the red is connected to the inverter that way. And I also have another red connecting to the second battery. So I have a second battery to provide additional power. And that's to make sure that my battery doesn't completely drain. Now, we're going to open up inside here. It's a bit of a mess, but I think you might need to see it to kind of understand a little bit more. Sorry for the mess. I have laundry there, dirty socks, my stack scratcher, and I got to put up netting for mosquitoes, although I haven't encountered any yet because it's kind of cool in Florida right now, so I don't really see mosquitoes as an issue. Let me pause and get this out of the way. Alright, I cleared everything so you can see what's going on here, but this thing flips up because this is for the stow and go seating on the van. It flips up out of the way. Well, I've got a cable caught here I gotta undo, but anyhow, it flips up out of the way, and you can see I have basically just a battery, an RV battery for a leisure battery. And I took the the wire that came from the positive of the vehicle went into the positive of the inverter, but then I also have a connection from the inverter that went from red to red over here. I think that's red. That's the positive. And then I have another one that goes from negative to negative. And then I took from the inverter, I also took another negative and I hooked it up to underneath to a bolt right here. So I have a negative that goes to the negative on the inverter, and it's hooked up to a metal to make sure it makes metal contact with the car frame. And then I have the red from here that goes up to the red on the inverter. That's the wiring there. And the other red goes to the car battery. So the whole system's connected. So you got two batteries wired together. This is just a cable for the fan here. But that's pretty much it. It's really simple wiring. And I did that so that you would have two batteries that could run in conjunction with one another. Okay, so basically had to move all this stuff, which I will put back now, and then resume filming. So just a quick recap. The inverter hooks up red to red and then black to black. In this case, we hooked up the red to the battery under the engine. And then we ran red from here to the red in the battery that's under the floor. Then we also ran black from that battery, the one under the floor, up to the black here. And we ran a black cable from the black, the negative there, to the bolt there to complete the circuit. Now, I failed to mention that actually the red that came from the car, instead of going straight to the inverter, that came from the car battery, I actually have it wired to the switch. And that way I can switch it off. So I have it wired to the switch, and then I have the wire from here that goes to the red. So when the switch is on, the connection completes. So you have the red that flows from the car battery through to the inverter to the red on the battery that's under the floor. And then the black goes from here to the battery under the floor. And then we also have a black from the battery under the floor that goes to that bolt that touches the metal on the car to complete the circuit. And then from the inverter, I have a 120 volt plug that goes there to a multi-plug outlet. And then from the outlet, I have the rice cooker hooked up. I can also hook up other 120 volt appliances. Now this particular inverter is 750 watts, which is more than enough to run the rice cooker. Rice cooker uses 300 watts, and typically to tell how many watts the device needs, an electrical device, you can look underneath where the power plug is or underneath the device. It'll usually tell how many watts it needs. Like rice cooker needs 300 watts in high mode and about 80 watts in warm mode. It says it on there. So basically 750 watt inverter should be able to run 2 of these rice cookers, which it can. We've tested that in the past. Now you can run it without starting the engine, but then the batteries, this battery will drain really fast, and if we have them connected by switching the switch on, then both batteries drain really fast. So what I do is I make sure that the car is running. I start the car up. We lost the key. Let me get the key.